It's March 31st, 2011. Zabila Culhane behind the camera. I'm T.H. Culhane for Solar Cities. Today we're showing how to boil a frog using biogas. The start of a home-scale biogas system is your food waste. Fruit will go bad, like these apples. We always have scrapings of the plate. When you're cooking, there will be food on the counter as you're cutting and chopping. Most people throw that food in the garbage. And when it goes in the garbage, then it begins to rot and it begins to smell. It attracts flies, it creates diseases, and let's face it, it's a hassle. In our house, we've eliminated that. All of the garbage here is just paper or plastic. It has no smell. It could sit here for years. It wouldn't hurt anything or anybody. And all of our organic waste goes down the sink. And it goes down a device called an Insinkerator. And you can sort of see right down there that it has a grinding wheel. So as you can see, there's a grinding wheel down there. And it's like a cheese grater on the side. We have this switch. You can see what happens as I turn it on. It throws the food on the side. So, we add a little water. And away the food goes. And that's it. So the food gets thrown to the side of the Insinkerator, where it then is chopped up. You can see I can put my hand here with no problem. It's not dangerous here, so I can scrape everything else in. And you can see that when it's done, the food is gone. So that's how we take care of our food. Now, where does it go from there? Well, this is the Insinkerator. And the food gets ground up here, and it goes down this tube. This is the Insinkerator Evolution 200. This model will grind everything, even bones. It'll do chicken bones, it will do meat bones. You name the food, it will do it. And it sends that food, come on along here, into the bathroom. And here, as you can see, we have a pump. Now we've got two different valves. One, if I open it, will send the food waste down the drain to the normal sewer, like most people use. But I've closed that valve, so instead the food is going here and into this pump. And you can hear, when we take a shower or anything else, the water goes in here. Hear it turn on in a second. There, hear that? So the pump is pumping everything outside, all the food waste. Now, this pump also takes our shower water and pumps it outside too. And the water from the dishwasher, Spülmaschine. Everything goes through this pump. The sink, the shower, kitchen, Spülmaschine, everything goes out here. Now, we'll go and see where it all ends up. This is the pipe coming out of underneath the bathtub that you just saw. It comes out here. If I'm taking a bath or a shower, I have hot water. That hot water, I will open this valve, and the hot water will go up here and into a tank that is behind this box. That's one big 1,000-liter tank. Inside the 1,000-liter tank is a 700-liter tank. The 700-liter tank has all the food waste we just saw coming from this pipe here. So if I'm using the Insinkerator, I close this valve, and I open this one, and I pump out the food waste, and that goes into the 700-liter tank that's inside. That's my digester, where I make my biogas. Then when I'm taking a shower or a bath, I close this valve, and I open this one, and I let the hot water go into the outer tank to heat up the digester so the bacteria are nice and warm. And that means if the bacteria are warm, then they will produce gas. And the gas you will see, can you see that? That was pretty powerful, huh? That was all the gas that we have from that. Okay, so you saw that gas, right? That's the gas from in here, heated by the bath water. But I also have another tank. So I've got this one that is heated by bath water. And then if I want to, I can open up this valve and this valve, and I can pump my food waste through this insulated pipe all the way down here. And if you look over here, I can pump it inside the greenhouse. If you follow this down here. You see that there? Goes in the greenhouse. So I can also fill another digester with food waste. And the other digester is here. You see that there? So this is pumping that food that you saw. There it is. Come out again. And that food waste is then going into this tank. In the greenhouse, it's 16 degrees, but inside the tank, it's 33.3 degrees Celsius. So that's nice and warm to make biogas. This is, by the way, a solar-powered thermometer. And so this is showing you what the tank is, and this is what the temperature inside the greenhouse is, 16.1. Still warmer than outside. Oh, see all that fire? Can you actually see that fire? I think you can now, right? And we can also see the gas here as it's being produced. There, oh, you can see that gas. Do you see it? Can you see this flame here? That to show up. You can see it now? So we've got good gas out of the tank. So put this on here. There we go. So this gas is coming out of this tank and out to a gas collector out there. These are what we call a thermal mass. It is an object that when the greenhouse gets hot in the day will collect the heat and store it. The water in there will get warm in the day, and then at night it will radiate the heat out, and it will help to keep the greenhouse warm overnight by having tanks of water in here that will get hot during the day, because otherwise all the heat will just be lost at night. This here is where the excess water goes out. As we fill this with new food and water, then the old food and water go out this pipe and down. Then you see a pipe going in here. This is for water to come out and go through a solar hot water collector for heating, and then it comes back in here. And this way, whenever the sun shines, we can also use solar hot water to heat the inside of the tank. So we have the water coming out here and then going back in there, and I'll show you the solar collector in a second. So this here is a home-built solar hot water system made from an old radiator inside a box with a piece of glass. This is a photovoltaic panel, a solar electric panel. When the sun shines, not today, but when the sun shines on a sunny day, it turns on a pump that is under here, Okay? I can turn on this pump, as I've done with this thermostat right here. And then what the pump is doing is the pump is pumping water out of there through the solar hot water system here, then out of here, and then you see that? That is the excess water coming from the biodigester tank, and this is filled with water. And this is filled with gas. This is our gas collector. Now, it was our first biodigester. 2 years ago, on our birthdays, Isabella and I had a party and invited friends over, and we took a 500-liter rainwater barrel and a 300-liter rainwater barrel, and we simply cut a hole and put the 300-liter barrel upside down in the 500-liter barrel, and we filled this with water and horse manure. And the horse manure provided the bacteria, and after about 3 weeks, 4 weeks, it started to produce gas that filled this barrel, and it began to rise. Now, because this barrel is taller than this, there's some dead space up here, so actually we only can fill 200 liters of it, and we packed the rest of this with styrofoam just so that we could push the gas out. But if we had barrels that were bigger, we could store more gas. We used this, but of course it's open to the air, and so it gets cold very easily. That's why we built another one out of an HDPE tank and put it in a greenhouse so we can keep it warm all year round. But this was our first, and now we use this to hold the gas that one makes. So that one produces gas, and it goes through this pipe and fills this up, and then this goes to the kitchen when we want to use it. This part here is a cage that just holds this garbage can so it doesn't fall over. That's all that these pipes are doing. They're just a cage to hold it together. This pipe here is for excess hot water. When this solar hot water thing is going, it also pumps hot water in here because there are still bacteria in here. And just like upstairs in the bathroom, the first digester makes 80% of the gas. The overflow of that goes into here. So any food that is not completely digested by that digester goes into this digester, and it also produces about 20% of the gas that fills this. You can see if I remove this, the gas is naturally under some pressure because of the weight of the tank. So when I turn this on, you hear the flame, right? Ouch, and I'm burning myself. Okay, so that's where the gas is. Put the pipe on it. Now we can go cook something. So to recap, what we've got going here is we've got two primary gas producing systems. This was Biogas Digester 1. It is now serving as a gas collector pretty much only. This was Biodigester number 2. Now has a greenhouse around it to keep it warm and some thermal masses to hold the heat. A solar heater with a photoelectric panel that runs hot water through it and back so that we can keep it at the 37 degrees Celsius it needs to be. This is Biodigester number 3, and it is heated by the bathtub water, because every time you take a bath or a shower, you use all that hot water for only about 30 seconds, and it goes right off your body and down the drain, and you've lost all that heat. Now, we've got a solar hot water system up there on the roof. It was a very expensive system. Cost us about $7,000 for the system, and then another $5,000 to install it. That's a lot of money to spend for hot water. You don't want to use that hot water in 30 seconds just to take a bath. So we pump that hot water into the larger tank here to heat the biodigester that's inside there as well. So we have two different ways of keeping the biodigesters warm here in Germany. One is the greenhouse and the solar hot water system attached to it. The other is a bath heated system, but of course it's also solar because it comes from that solar hot water system on the roof. And that's how we are able to do some of our cooking. Let's see if we can boil a frog. So now what we're going to do is we're going to boil an egg, or 3 eggs, in 1 liter of water, and we'll also boil a frog. Because this is the symbol, this is Lu, is the symbol of fighting global warming. So we'll put Lu in the pot along with the eggs, and we'll turn on the gas. Just let the air go out. There we go. And now Lu. Okay. We let Lu start to boil. I'm going to start the stopwatch. And see how much gas it takes to boil a frog and some eggs. And let's look at what's going on outside. Follow the line from Lu here, and we'll see where is this gas coming from. And we see that the gas is coming from here, and that this is full with 200 liters of gas, and I've put a brick on top to give it some nice strong pressure to help boil the frog. The gas is made there, stored here, and now it's going into Lu. And how long did it take to get that amount of gas? It took us 2 days to build up that 200 liters, which should give us about a half an hour of cooking. Now that is because we just built the greenhouse and it was very cold inside the tank. We expect that as it gets warmer and warmer, that we'll be able to produce that amount of gas in 1 day, not 2, and eventually in a half a day. The theoretical maximum for a tank this size, if we feed it our kitchen garbage, is that we can fill this almost 4 to 5 times a day, giving us about 2 hours of cooking gas every day. But right now, it's been cloudy weather, it's not that warm. It was cold on the inside, the winter has just ended, so it took us 2 days to get a half an hour's worth of cooking gas. But that should improve with the heating methods that we have. So let's see how Lu is doing on the inside. Now we're up to 45. And we're up there. Within 3 minutes, we're at 45 degrees. We've still got another 50 degrees to go. We've been boiling the frog now for 5 minutes, and we're up to 62 degrees Celsius for our liter of water, still going strong. And just want to talk a little bit about the potential. In the tropical belt, along the equator, and into the subtropics, it's warm enough to do biogas all the time. And we've built biogas systems in Botswana, we've built them in Kenya, we've built them in Tanzania, we've built them in Egypt, we've built them in Nigeria, and our colleagues just got back from Ghana where they built the biogas systems. We learned about the systems from Dr. Anand Karve at RT India in Pune, India, which is here near Mumbai, and then took that technology and idea to Africa, North Africa. Recently I was in Israel and Palestine building systems and making talks about them in Jordan. We're working with Al-Najah University in Nablus. We're working with the Engineers Without Borders Palestine and the Palestinian Wildlife Society. We've been building biodigesters in Palestine, and we're also working with the Arava Institute of the Environment in Israel and Kibbutz Keturah, and so we just built some digesters there. But it's outside of this subtropical tropical belt that biogas is difficult to do at the home scale. When you get into the temperate zone, into Europe and North America and Canada, then temperature is your enemy, because biogas bacteria like to be at body temperature, 37 degrees Celsius. That's why we're doing experiments here on our roof porch in Germany. We've done some experiments in Alaska with Dr. Katie Walter and with Adam Lowe and the students of Cordova High School. And we've done some experiments in Seattle, Washington with Mike Ramoyne and with Alvaro Silva in Los Angeles and with Woody Hastings and Frank DeMassa in Northern California, in Sonoma County. So all these places we've been building biodigesters, but the hard part is getting them warm in the northern climates in a cost-effective way. Germany does have 5,000 industrial-sized biogas digesters producing electricity and commercial hot water and using city garbage and using agricultural waste. But you don't see many of these small-scale home systems. That's what we're trying to perfect here. And once that's perfected, biogas can be the solution to our energy problems and our waste management problems because garbage is found everywhere. All of us have kitchen garbage. All of us have toilet garbage. Toilet waste and kitchen waste, restaurant waste, food processing waste, all of the waste, even leaves and grass, branches, all the stuff that clutters up our city streets. You see people blowing around with leaf blowers. That also can be turned into biogas. Dr. Martin Denneke of the University of Essen has a patent on a 3-phase digestion system that turns the leaf waste, leaf litter, and other organic matter into biogas. So literally all organic waste can be turned into this clean cooking gas, and we won't any longer need to depend on oil from dictatorships in the Middle East or in South America. We will no longer have to worry about Russia cutting the natural gas supplies to Europe and all of the attendant political problems that causes, the wars that people fight, lives lost. Biogas is available everywhere. But the key piece is, of course, being able to turn your kitchen waste into food for the biogas. Stockholm, Sweden, up here, is using Insinkerators to have everybody produce feedstock for the bacteria, to produce biogas for cars, trucks, and buses to run on. It's also going on at the Insinkerator Corporation's main city in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, over here. And you'll see more and more of it. The Australian government is now asking people to put these Insinkerators into their sinks so that they can make biogas from all our garbage. We are now at, we've gone over the temperature limit for this little probe. We're getting close to boiling. And we are now at almost 10 minutes. So we're about to boil the frog here. Let's check on, after 10 minutes, how much gas have we used. So we can see that after 10 minutes of using the gas, we've only used 1/3 of our gas approximately. And so that is consistent. It means that this 200 liters gives us about a half an hour. And we've used 10 minutes of our half an hour. So we're doing okay. A little garbage can like that can produce gas for cooking. It's kind of amazing, huh? The water is beginning to boil right now. Yep, Lou is boiling. So, ooh, Lou is boiling. We're at 11 minutes and 44 seconds, and the frog is boiling vigorously. It's going to overboil, in fact. We may have to turn down the heat. Oh, it's really boiling now. We are now at 16 minutes and 35 seconds. Lou is boiling away here, and he still isn't jumping out. And this is the metaphor for humanity. The world is heating up with climate change, and we're heating up politically too. Wars for oil, confrontations with petro-dictators. And then, of course, there's this terrible problem happening right now, even as we speak right now, in Fukushima, where my friends, Reni and Hoshi and Chuchu and their families are living in Fukushima with the terrible threat of this meltdown that is happening in the nuclear reactor there. We ask ourselves, why do we even tolerate or put up with using radioactive rocks to boil water when we have biogas? All that a nuclear reactor does is boil water to turn a turbine. Gas also boils water to turn turbines, and it can be made safely We have no dangers here. We don't worry about a meltdown. We don't worry about radioactivity. But here in Japan, a nuclear reactor that is uncontrollable is threatening the entire world as it releases radioactive cesium and radioactive iodine into the atmosphere, as it releases plutonium into the ground and into the ocean, which will get in the food chain and get into our systems and continue to poison us, causing cancer, causing disease for not just a few years, but in some cases for millennia. So in the spirit of finding alternatives to the nuclear crisis that is going on in Japan right now, we're suggesting simple home biogas. That if everybody had their own Insinkerator in their kitchen sinks, and that Insinkerator was connected to a home biogas system, you could boil your own water just as we're boiling these eggs and boiling this frog right here. And I think now...
Now we boil this frog.
Oh, it's 18 minutes, so the eggs should be ready. So I'm going to turn off the gas and take poor Lou, who's boiled. Woo! There you go, Lou. And that's the name that I gave. That's funny with the steam coming off. And we boiled Lou in this 1-liter pot with biogas from the porch. And we're doing that to celebrate this incredible documentary film, How to Boil a Frog, which can be yours from the How to Boil a Frog website for only $15. Just go to www.howtoboilafrog.com. That's www.howtoboilafrog.com, and get yourself a copy of this hilarious, very dark humor film, kind of like An Inconvenient Truth meets The 11th Hour, meets The Age of Stupid, meets Monty Python.